Hi FlossTube, it's Nicola again from good old New Zealand. Finally hoping to get through a couple of, well actually there's three of them, three of the stitching tags. I was listening to Teresa Little Stitcher last night, so she has got a tag that she's just put out. Wanting to know all sorts of bits and pieces, and I can't blame her. Sounds like a good way to get some ideas about how other people do their stitching and what really works, and why it works for people, because not everything works for each and every one of us. So I will start off with this one, and I'll probably end up stopping each video, stopping each time I finish the one tag and move on to the next tag, purely because I seem to be having a lot of trouble loading things up to YouTube. I know why it is. Something to do with I need to authorize my account, but that involves texting off my phone number or something along those lines to YouTube, and yeah, I haven't done that yet and I'm not sure if I will. So less than 15 minutes for each of my videos. Not great if you want to sit and listen to somebody ramble on while you're stitching, but never mind. So here goes. So this is Teresa's tag, or the Teresa tag. First off, do seasons affect your stitching? Yes. Simple answer, yes they do. I probably would have to say, even though I've only just got back into stitching, winter is going to be the best time to do stitching, especially because, you know, it's cold. It's winter at the moment in New Zealand. It's freezing this morning. It was -3 when I got up at 8:30. Lazy Saturday, sleeping in. But you know, I get up at about 6:30 every other day of the week, except for Sunday and Saturday. Anyway, so yeah, seasons do affect my stitching, although I would probably have to say I am hoping come summer that I do get outside and do a little bit of stitching. Probably will only do something simple and easy, or a project that you know you're going to be stitching with, say, 1 or 2 colours for quite some time on certain bits and pieces. Probably wouldn't take a hade out there, but yeah, a smaller project, particularly like what Teresa is doing, something with just, you know, the 1 colour thread or very few colours. Yeah, okay, so yeah, seasons do affect my stitching. Winter's great because, yeah, if it's raining or freezing on the weekend, you know, much more of an excuse to just sit and stitch most of the day away. Yeah, I quite like it. I really am looking forward to my weekends at the moment, because I get to do a lot more stitching when I come home in the evenings. I'm quite tired, and I find that towards the end of the week I don't get as much stitching done. Say last night I didn't stitch at all. End of the week, 5 days a week working, so yeah, I didn't want to mess anything up last night, so I didn't stitch at all, but I did watch Teresa's tag video, so yeah. Do I have a lap stand, floor stand, or in hand? I'm an in hand kind of person, either hoops or frames in my hand. I know that in hand stitching is usually just holding the cloth and stitching away as you do that, but no, this is, I don't have a lap stand and I don't have a floor stand. I think I would like to try maybe a floor stand if I was doing a big project, say a hade or some of the bigger ones, but at the moment I'm quite happy with my frames, my Q-snaps really. I think they're a great invention. I don't mind using my hoop, a larger hoop, but yeah, they do tend to mark up the fabric a lot more, and it's harder to get that sort of out without either washing or, you know, steaming while you're ironing your fabric, you know, at the end, and that's not always the best thing to do, especially now I've discovered hand-dyed flossers. So yeah, I don't have a lap stand, floor stand, or anything along those lines, which also pretty much answers question 3, which was, do you use a hoop, Q-snap, frame, or in hand? Yeah, so Q-snaps mostly. With the hoop, I use a hoop at work actually, a really small one, probably only like about saucer size. I'm doing embroidery at work, so that's what I'm doing in that one. I don't have a magnifying glass of any sort. I don't have anything that clips on or anything along those lines. I tend to be a hold it up to my face until I can see it kind of girl. Lucky me, my glasses help. Or not. I don't stitch two-handedly, purely because I don't have any form of stand to hold the frame. So I'm a single-handed stitcher. I live alone with my darling cat, Daisy. So pretty much I stitch alone. However, if my parents come to visit and they stay with me, you know, if I've got 5-10 minutes and I'm sitting there, or we're just having a quiet time in the afternoon after a mad day out shopping, yeah, I'll sit at the kitchen table and we'll, you know, we'll chat along and talk, and I'll stitch as well. So yeah, Teresa, it is nice to actually be around people to stitch at times. So I think I would prefer to have the ability to spend time with people and stitch, rather than sort of shut myself away in a small quiet place. But saying that, if I had a noisy household with a lot of people in and out and talking and doing a lot of things, I'd probably want a smaller space, a quiet one, quiet place to sort of go and just have some music on or listen to floss tube, which is what I do, because you guys all stitch with me, did you know? It's quite fun because you know, you do hear a rustle of plastic, or someone says, oh, I got this, and you're like, oh, and you stop stitching and you look up and you're like, oh, wow, that's awesome. And do I need it? I probably do. Next thing is my favourite fabric and count. I haven't stitched on Ada for a very, 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 very long time. I've got one small project I brought back from the UK that is a Noah's Ark, which I haven't really done anything with. It was on blue Ada. I have no idea of the count. I think I'm more of a linen girl at the moment. I tend to go towards the linens. However, I am trying to broaden my horizons and go even weave. I don't seem to have a problem with the counting to you know, 2 is 1. When you're counting out how many stitches you need to do, I just automatically do it. I guess that's probably because I've been using linen for, well, my Mirabilia was stitched on linen, so that's 20 odd years ago, and haven't had a problem with that. Yeah, I did lose my stitchy bug, which is question 9, and I got it back by watching floss tube. Eventually the inspiration just hit me. Also, looking at the really awesome flosses and things that are out there and about there, going to look on the Stitch websites. I found looking at anything and everything on 123 Stitch is awesome fun, and it gets very inspiring. You sort of come across something and you go, oh, now that would be fun to stitch, or oh, I must have that, I really like it, I really want to stitch that. So yeah, I would say floss tube is a really great way. Having a look at the things I have already, finding a project I really want to do, not limiting myself to just the one project or the one type of project, I think is probably one of the best ways so far that I've managed to get my stitchy bug back. Having the ability to swap and not just having the one whip at a time, you know, switching from the Storytime sampler to my house's game, you know, stitching game board, to thinking about the possibility of beating my Mirabilia. So yeah, I think that's good. I think that's how I got mine back, and watching you guys, the inspiration is just incredible. It helps you keep going. Do I stitch while travelling, and would I stitch on public transport? If I had the time. I don't actually have a long commute in Christchurch, so no, I don't stitch. However, I do look on Pinterest at other people stitching. I quite like that, and also I have a browse on Instagram, so I do that while I'm travelling. But I've stitched while on aeroplanes, as some people do. Would I stitch on a commute on the train? If it was a half hour or more, yeah, I would. You know, I think if you're going to get at least a good 20-minute stitching, I would. I would have to say, though, probably a frame would be the best way to do this. on small projects, and I was thinking about it last night, Teresa, I reckon that if you were doing, say, small Christmas ornaments, you know, basic ones, or small stitches that you would put into Christmas greeting cards or greeting cards for the year round. You know, you can get the cards with the apertures in them, like circles or hearts or squares, and you mount your finished little stitch in it. You know, maybe some of those sorts of things might be the way to go. But yeah, I was thinking, you know, in the lead up to Christmas, that might be an awesome thing to do. But yeah, I would stitch something that was not complicated, something that is, I don't really require a big chart for or anything like that. You know, just a small piece of paper with a small chart on it, something that you don't even need to cross off because you can see pretty much exactly where you're going. And probably something that didn't require too many different needle colours. Otherwise, I might even set up, say, 3 or 4 needles the night before on a small strip of fabric. Just pin them ready to pull out of the fabric and start the stitching with just the different colour flosses already lined up on them. That way you're not having to thread needles all the time on the train, because, oh, bumpy, that might not be so easy. But yeah, I would suggest maybe something along those lines. Might be a good plan. I don't know. Depends how self-conscious you are. I know you've had trouble with frames, hoops before, but I know you can get like an 8x8 Q-snap frame, which might be a better example. I have a small bag that I have at work with my embroidery hoop in it, which is quite small, saucer size, like I said. And in it, I just have the thread that I'm using, which is variegated thread, so I'm not really needing a lot of threads. A small pair of scissors, you know, snippy squizzes, and I've got a packet of needles in there, and you know, that's pretty much all I need. My pattern is on the fabric. It's an old pattern. I'll show you guys at some point in time when I get some better photos of what I'm doing, maybe later today. I might get some of these bits and pieces done and sorted out with smaller videos, so there might be a whole lot, so really sorry if that's the case. Yeah, and I think that's probably going to have to be the end, because I notice I'm up to 12 minutes, and dear Lord, if this doesn't upload today, God help the iPad. Is all I can say. I may need to stitch some to calm down. So, Teresa, thanks for the very interesting tag, and it was great to see your video last night. And, yeah, I hope you get lots of really cool answers about this, because I'm interested too to see what people are doing. So, thanks very much. Bye!